office, and we licensed the brand to a company in Germany that is still our licensee today, and they're killing it over there. The brand is like really, really strong in Europe right now.
Yeah.
I moved home and came into the company and took over. I started up the e-commerce business. Yeah, that's what I started up, e-commerce, and we were selling like 4 or 5 jackets at the time on e-commerce, and it was so good for me because it was starting something from nothing.
Yeah.
And something as powerful as e-commerce, it was pretty easy to like get some quick wins and grow. So the department grew like pretty quickly, and so it built my presence or stature in the company that I was unknowingly at the time soon going to be the leader of.
Right.
So it kind of built me some credit.
Yeah.
And people began to trust me and listen to me, and so it kind of just laid the groundwork for me. So it was a really good opportunity for me there.
And so wait, at that point at what point, so that's when you guys stopped selling to the military? Is that what you're saying? Like about licensing and stuff?
Well, actually, no, we stopped selling them to the military in, I think our last contract was in 2001, early 2001. And the reason we stopped selling the military is because if you want to sell the military textile products or jackets and clothing and stuff, it has to be made in America.
Right.
And it was at this point is when, I mean, in the 90s and into 2000s is when all of the fashion companies started going overseas.
Yeah.
I mean, you had companies before then, like the Gaps of the world and Levi's and whoever that were making products in China and overseas for a long time before, but really like everybody started going overseas, and it was just too expensive to make anything in America anymore. So we closed our factory in Knoxville. We moved all production overseas, and in doing so, we forfeited all government contracts. And
I mean, like, even just learning about it in school, I don't know if you remember, but I'm almost done with school, but I'm in school for design and merchandising for fashion, and I'm in this one senior class, and we do talk about like sourcing in the U.S. versus in outside the U.S., and it still is super expensive in the U.S. Like it's not as expensive as when you were talking about, but it's still crazy how expensive to be made in the U.S. is.
Yeah, that's very true, and you know, from my point of view, like it's a necessity of doing business. Although we're now starting to see some brands kind of come back, but it's in very specific categories. Like there's a lot of denim that comes out of
the US.
LA factories. There's basics like T-shirts and T-shirt printing and stuff like that that's done here. But for the most part, anything cut and sew is coming from overseas. And the thing that's like a little kind of sad about it is the reason why it's expensive, it's not that it's expensive, it's that it's just cheap overseas. Yeah. And that comes from cheap labor.
It is sad. But that's like the reality of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've visited a number of factories overseas in China, and it's hard to look at. I mean, it's really like it's an absolute necessity of doing business. The environment is dirty and all that kind of stuff. And he says, look, without us, they might not have a job at all.
Right.
And so that kind of stuck with me. But the truth is that the conditions are not great, and it's dangerously, dirty. I've seen dye houses. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just not, you can't imagine unless you go see these things. And it's just hard. And this is the fashion industry. it's what we try, and I think what the fashion industry tries to conceal, but the truth is it's just not, and it's a constant race of all the different fashion brands to find the cheapest suppliers, the cheapest, workers, and it's just that's what feeds these companies like H&M and Zara's and the fast fashion. The reason they're able to get it so cheap is because they buy such big volumes, and they basically pay these people nothing.
Business of Fashion, just a bunch of articles on the web just to like see like what's trending, like what's actually happening in the world, because like besides school and what you see on social media, there's so much more like on the news about it. Fast fashion is dying. It's sad. It's not the reason why is not because of the factories. It's because of people are wanting to be more conscious of the earth and what we're spending, and so then you see all these subscription boxes popping up, and Rent the Runway is doing really good because people are being more aware of how much they consume. And it's interesting. We talk about all the time. It's like my generation, your generation, the generation before all has different shopping trends, and for some reason, like fast fashion has just always been kind of one lingering throughout all of them, but it's finally starting to kind of die down.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, like, it's not easy on the business so much. I personally think that this is a great movement that's happening, and it is being inspired by the Gen Z. Like, that's really what everybody says is the primary generation that is concerned about sustainability and impact on the environment and all that different kind of stuff. And it's so great, and it's causing all these brands. If any brand isn't right now developing a strategy for sustainability or upcycling or whatever it is that then they're behind the ball.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I imagine in the boardrooms of all these major fast fashion companies, they're scratching their heads. They don't know what to do about this whole sustainability thing, and it's known in the industry that textiles is like one of the largest polluters of any industry in the world.
Yeah.
But that information is just going to continue to get more and more well known.
Right.
And it's going to start killing all of these established brands. So I think it's great. I think it's exciting. I think Alpha's got like a really cool and interesting strategy on how to do the sustainability ourselves. So.
But it was like using stuff from fruit to like using plastic in some way. I mean, it's just like the amount of stuff that you can use these days is kind of, it's cool.
Yeah, I actually saw I snowboard a lot, so it's like I saw there's this brand, I can't remember the name of it right now, French brand, that the whole jacket is from recycled materials.
Really?
And it's amazing. It's built well, and it's they sell it in the REIs here. Yeah. Picture. That's what it's called.
Picture.
Picture, spelled just like a photograph. Picture clothing out of France, organic and recycled products.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
They don't think twice about it. They're like, okay, it's not something we're interested in, but you gotta be.
Yeah.
What was I gonna ask? Oh, I don't know how much time you have. I don't want to like take up your whole day.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm cool. Like, I got maybe 10 minutes.
All right.
And we gotta
Perfect.
get ready.
Perfect. When did like celebrities start wearing the coats? Because I remember that's like a big thing. But I mean, obviously it wasn't always like that. So when did it start? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. We I mean, we're filmed Bull Durham, the baseball movie in the 90s. I've seen pictures of Madonna in the jacket. I've seen pictures of what's his name, the soccer player, the British soccer player who everybody thinks is so handsome. David Beckham.
Yeah, David Beckham.
Yeah, David Beckham was photographed wearing it, and that's all like organic stuff. That's not, we're not like paying them to wear this stuff at all. So it's all natural, organic, which is awesome. Yeah. But I think what you're referring to is like the big, more recent like blitz of celebrities, and that started. I gotta give all credit to Kanye. My good close friend Kanye. He I don't remember what year it was, probably like 5 years ago. Yeah, he or his people called, and they wanted a tour jacket for his Yeezy tour, and we sent him a jacket, and he loved it, and we ended up selling hundreds of jackets to him with, like a screen print of the Yeezy Tour 2015 or whatever it was, and that started it.
That's awesome.
And then next thing you know, of course, Kim Kardashian had one, and then her sisters had one, Gigi Hadid, and it kind of grew from there, and it's like it's constantly popping. And again, this is all organic. We're seeding jackets. Like we definitely, like, through our PR people.
Yeah, I remember.
We seed them out, but we're not paying people to wear it or to do an Instagram shot in it or anything like that. This is all just they just genuinely like it, which is pretty cool.
I think that's important too. So, like, something that I noticed just being on like the outside, what I've seen and what I've noticed is like there's so many like companies and people out there that are like, paying to do that, and I think it's important to just have it organically. It's just like, why pay somebody to wear the jacket, then take a picture, and then it's like, you know what, they're not going to keep the jacket or wear it ever again, so I think that's really important too.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.